Hello, everybody. So I was advised by my team today to not take sessions, and they were like, "Well, we want you to get on YouTube and share something." And I'm like, "I'm good." And they were like, "No, we insist." Like they were being very insistent. So then I went Will Smith on them, and I was like, back up, mind your business." Um, so I was like, no, but really, I then compromised, and I was like, well, give me 45 minutes in the sun. Let me recharge myself. Let me just chill, and then I'll do it. Apparently, there's an urgency to this message, so that's why I'm on here with you guys today. And all donations are appreciated. I will attach a link below. It's feelgoodlife.com/donate. I don't know how long this video will be. I'm not sure it'll be a lengthy video, but it is important that I deliver this message for you guys because I got a huge zip file of information, and if I don't share it, it's going to escape me. So here we go. The first message I got was, you deserve to be loved because nothing. You deserve to be loved because nothing. And FYI, this is going to be an energy update. I took the pulse on the collective today, and this, like I said, this packet of information came streaming in. You need to understand that if you were stranded on an island and you were the only person that ever existed, meaning you had never met another human, you wouldn't be able to say things like, but what if I don't love myself yet? Because you'd have no comparison to draw from. So most of what you believe about yourself is really just a thought that was swimming around in that island or in that ocean within your deserted island, was a thought that was swimming around, that was a thought belonging to the collective that you then took on as your own. So most of what you believe about yourself is really just fictitious. It's an illusion. But because we are highly sensitive beings, we are sentient beings, we end up absorbing what it is that people think about themselves, which thoughts don't exist if separation doesn't exist. So once you're alone and you're the only person that's ever existed on this planet, then you would know that you don't know if you're lovable or not. It just would be. It's kind of like God. God is all that is, and then God sought to have an experience to disperse himself and then go out, or itself or herself, to go out and collect data. Right? Like an octopus that just grabs all this information through these fractals that it fractalizes into, because God exists in all things, source exists in all things, you see. So, number one, you deserve to be loved because nothing. Because you're here, because you inherited the energy of source. That's why. There's no why, it's just because. Because you deserve to have your reality meet you where you want to be met. And you deserve it so much that you don't even need to say it. You just need to know that you are it, that you are this love. All right. Now, the reason why I prefaced with that message is because I was getting a very clear vision that the overarching energy right now, the theme, is that many of you have been trying to repair your relationships. You've been circling back to people in your life that you cared for deeply and intimately, people that you would take a bullet for. And it's as if they're not meeting you there. They're not wanting to negotiate or at least open up a dialogue to see if there's a possibility for you guys to be able to bring reconciliation to the relationship, to be able to salvage that relationship like you're salvaging a car. Like, a lot of people are stuck in their ways, and they have a tendency to punish you, right? Because you've been on their end of the spectrum. They want to punish you because they need to experience how you treated them before. Does that make sense? So it's karma, and we don't want to blame or fault those people, but we also want to get real with ourselves and ask ourselves, is this what I'm aligning to now? Is this really symmetrical to the love that I am? And it's not. So if it's not, then why do you keep chasing it? Why do you keep trying to, put your hand in the raffle bucket for the raffle draw or the raffle tickets? Why do you keep reaching your hand hoping that you're going to get a different ticket? Every ticket you get is going to be the same old story. It's going to be the same old episode of the same old show. Yes, there's a saying that goes, it's the same old song and dance, because that's what it is. But I was getting a very clear vision that you have so much love to give, all right, an unlimited amount. And you've been extending that olive branch, and you've been extending yourself, doing everything that you can in your power to make things right, to let that person know that you care. You've been dropping your guard, you've been putting your walls down. Yes? But the thing is, if someone still has a story that they've created about you, or it's a story that's not necessarily about you, but it's reflective of where they currently stand on their journey, then you can't try to climb over that wall. It's going to be insurmountable. So what you want to do is just take a step back, rein in your energy, because you spend a lot of vibrational currency, a lot of energy trying to make things right. And what your guides want you to know is that you mean so well. You do have this unlimited amount of love to give, because that's what you are. You're a vortex of positive light and positive energy. But if someone doesn't want to receive that, or they don't want to reciprocate that, by continuing to try to get them to love you, only feeds into the system of lack. It feeds into the system of fear. It feeds into the system of inadequacy. So it's going to breed more of the same. And then you're going to find yourself wondering or, agonizing over why they're not calling you back. It's because everything is based upon the law of attraction. That is the presiding principle on this planet right now. It presides over all things. So if you, dish out a frequency of self-disempowerment, even though that's not where you're coming from, okay? You're coming from a place of love, and it's pure, and you are seen and you are acknowledged by the inner being. But if you keep going out to these outer beings, outreaching and saying, I want to make things right, here's my olive branch, or can we maybe work on bringing resolution to this relationship, and they're not hearing you, it falls on deaf ears, or maybe they're just giving you a hard time because they're getting energy from that, which is really unhealthy, by the way. It's really unhealthy to do that. When you get energy, when you're on a high horse and you're gobbling up all of that ego energy, very low vibrational. But if they're doing that, then that's the respective path that they're choosing to be on, okay? And it may be that it's nothing personal towards you whatsoever. It's just that they're feeling allergic to that energy right now. I've been there too. There's been people in my past that deceived me, and every time I would think about hanging out with them, I was like, oh, no, I can't. I'm allergic to that thought right now. There's no ounce in me that gets excited at the prospect of hanging out with them again. You see? So try to see it from different angles. But the most important piece is, rather than focusing on all the angles of what they might be thinking, which is really not living in yourself, it's living in them and through their prism rather than your own prism, bring it back to love and self-love. Because you are love. And if someone isn't receiving the amount of love that you have to give, because that's what you are, you're a pure being of love, then retract all the way. If they can't vibrationally reciprocate that, or just send you a text saying, hey, this is where I'm at, and just be open with you, then stop chasing the tail of the dragon, because it's only going to further disempower you. The message coming in as I took that pause was, you're supposed to move forward. You are supposed to move forward. 6 words. You are supposed to move forward. And I know that it sucks, and I know that it's a bummer, and I know that it makes your heart break to think that you have to leave certain people behind, but don't even think of it that way. Think more in terms of being a dot. Think more in terms of being in the now. In this now moment, I'm going to do what empowers me. And then that will lead you to another now moment. Don't try to fabricate all these stories around what might happen, or what should happen, or how they should respond to you, because that's still rooted in the binary system. of the right or wrong or the good or bad. It's bad that they're not calling me back. I'm really mad at them because I think that they owe me something that they in actuality don't owe you. You know, no one really owes you anything. And I always say that because it's a harsh truth, but it is a truth. And as you know, truth is relative. But I have found for my own journey that who we really are inherently are these air balloons. And all we want to do is float. And I've talked about this before. We just want to float into those higher waves of consciousness. But what we do is we end up shaking hands with these sandbags, with these beliefs that act as sandbags that keep our balloon from floating up into our natural state. And you owe that to yourself. You owe it to yourself to discover and uncover who and what you are. You owe that to yourself, my friends. You will never know if you keep bogging your energy down by way of caring, overly caring about what people think of you and how they view you. This is a recipe for disaster, and it will always be a recipe for disaster because you didn't live here to be in someone else's shoes. You came here to live in your own shoes. And the proof is in the pudding. Everywhere you look, like you have your own shoe size. You have your own waist size. Yes? You have your own apartment. You have the colors that you prefer over the colors you don't prefer, because this is your own personalized experience. And your matrix, your universe, is responding to your inner vortex. It's responding to the vortex that you've built from within you, right? That is really just a combination of your values, your beliefs, your focus, your attention, your intention. Your entire outer reality is really just a simulation, right? It's real, but the best way to beat this game, right, is to log out of the game. The best way to win the game is to recognize that every player in your game chose their human suit, including you. You chose what you would look like before you were born. You chose everything. And I know this may not please a lot of people when I say this, but you chose everything from your parents to your sexuality to your skin color, the whole shoot and shebang. All right? You did, because you knew that other factors wouldn't advance you. They wouldn't compel you or propel you forward on your path. So oftentimes we carry all these different variables, right, that are really uncomfortable, but it's because we know that the frequency of everything that's associated to that, right? So for me as a gay man, everything, the Akash of gay men is associated to that frequency. So I had to work through a lot of those issues when I was young, wanting to kill myself, feeling like I didn't belong, feeling like the black sheep, feeling like all of these things. And then you have all the other stuff, the plethora of things that you choose for yourself. Mental disorder, I had that too. But then it's associated to all the records of anyone who's ever been told they were crazy, and every experience that's encapsulated by that particular record. Do you see? So we choose all of these different things before we come to this planet. And then when we arrive, it's like it's so quick to go into victimhood because there's all these frequencies firing at us, you know? It's like dodging bullets constantly. It's like being in survival mode and fighting for your life. But without contrast, you would not be in a position to expand yourself. Without contrast, you wouldn't have the impetus. Your contrast is the impetus for your expansion. And your personal expansion also lends itself to the cosmic expansion, to universal expansion. So everything that you do, just being here right now, just being in your house is a service to humanity. Really, being in your house is a service to humanity. But what it always boils down to is your choice, because you have a free will. This is a free will planet. You have a free will to decide whether or not you're going to keep trying to love someone who doesn't love you back, or if you're going to use that choice to say, wait a second, I am love. If I keep seeing that I'm unlovable through this other person, then what does that say about me? It means that I'm still accepting less than what I am. It means that I'm still participating in realities that are anchored in the lower self. All right? And as long as you're incarnated in a binary system, in a dualistic reality, you will have a choice because you have to choose hot or cold. You have to choose positive or negative. You have to choose south or north. You have to choose California or New York. You have to choose different things. And your choice will determine the outcomes. Your choice will be the determining factor as to whether or not you keep associating yourself to all these Akashic records that are affiliated with your blueprint, right? Which is really just your assignment. It was a manuscript. It was a plan that you laid out in front of yourself before you incarnated, and you said, yes, I want this, and I want this, and I want to accomplish this, and I want to accomplish that. So let's create, let's engineer, let's produce this thing, this life, and then I'm going to jump in to my human suit, and now all the energies that are going to allow me to advance are going to present themselves. This is how it works, my friends. That's why there's a lot that I don't share with people, just because I know people would flip a switch. They would have an adverse reaction to everything I share, and their feathers would get ruffled. But if you could see what I see, right, and I'm in touch with all these galactic beings, the Council of Light, myself, I have access to these dimensions now. If you could see what I see, it's almost laughable. It's almost laughable how much we cling on to these old narratives rather than really assuming responsibility for what we selected vibrationally. We selected it, and we've all had many lifetimes. I remember a life as a slave, and that's where I got my chops. That's where I started learning to sing, because I was getting my pain out. And every riff I did was a story. It was my pain. I remember that life of being oppressed, you see? But if you're thinking linearly, you might say, you're just a white boy. You don't know what you're talking about. But the thing is, all of us have traveled together. We have partook in this grand experiment. And not always, but 99% of the time, we will slip into the shoes of someone else in another incarnation that will serve us in our expansion. But past lives aside, when someone thinks linearly, in a linear fashion, then they're very prone to playing the victim. So if someone isn't returning your calls, you might go, oh, they're so mean. I don't get why they're doing that to me. It's unacceptable, blah, 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 which is still a judgment. That's still a judgment. And it's understandable. See, this entire energy update is about love. Your guides, they want you to know and understand at a core level that you did nothing wrong to push that person away. You were just this ball of light, ball of love. Did you have a few slip-ups? We all do. But a true testament as to whether or not we're going to rise above it is if two people could come together, join forces, and decide to do so, to overcome this hurdle. And if someone backs out, it means that they don't have the bandwidth or the wherewithal to be able to communicatively and transparently share what's on their heart, which means that they're still playing that game, you see? Now, if someone shoots you a text and they're like, you know what, I've had some time to think about it, I love you, I will always love you, but right now I'm in a different place in my life, that's wonderful, because that denotes that they're still willing to be open and communicative. But if someone's still playing mental Olympics game, like, ooh, let me show you, right? An eye for an eye, then what you want to do is completely remove yourself from that situation, because you didn't do anything wrong. All you were trying to do was to verbalize or articulate how you felt, and that person was shunning you. They were ghosting you. They weren't giving you the time of day. So your guides are saying you're supposed to move forward. And move forward just means be present with your now. And if someone reappears in your life, then at that point you can decide whether or not you want to respond. But what I've been getting for myself lately is no games. If I genuinely check in with my heart and I take my own pulse and I'm like, there's a part of me that wants to not respond, but the truth, my authentic self loves them and misses them, so I'm going to respond. That's where they want you to function from. That's more of a fifth dimensional consciousness. Everything else is third dimensionally based. It's the tit for tat. It's the let me show you, let me get my revenge. all right? And that doesn't lead you anywhere. It leads to a dead end. Now, there's one more message I'm going to share before I log off. I kept getting this vision that a lot of you right now are like these fishermen or fisherwomen. And it's as if your mind is fishing for someone that you can reach out to that would soothe you. But right now, your guides are advising you against that because you're still feeling raw, right? You're still feeling raw from all of the deceptions and all of the hurt and all of the pain and all of the grief. So really give yourself that permission slip to take your time to replenish yourself, to pamper yourself, to come back to love before you fish for someone that you can potentially reach out to. The majority of the people that you reach out to right now are going to be people you already know. They're from your past, and your guides are saying you are supposed to move forward. This is about self-mastery. This is about being willing to sit with every emotion that you're feeling rather than acting impulsively on it. You never want to be impulsive into doing anything. You never want to have that sense of urgency, like I'm lonely, let me reach out to someone. Oh, who can I scan, right? Or let me scan the field of existence to see who I can reach out for. It's very much like someone who's almost like a crackhead, or like they're fiending for something, right? It's like you need to teach your mind that you are its master. You need to teach your mind that it is not in charge of you. It doesn't run your show. You are the CEO of your own body. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again because I think I said this on Instagram. If you don't feel ease, or if you can't take comfort in the body, which is the temple that God Source gave you, then there's a problem. Because this is your mind. This is your body. It should feel like home. Your physical home shouldn't be a distraction from this home. You need to find comfort within your own home. And if your mind is constantly getting blasted with all these different thoughts, then what does that say about you? It means that you're still susceptible to outside energies and outside forces, right? Which is what makes you think that you're unlovable. That you're then sponging as your own or adopting as your own, which is completely removed from the truth. These are erroneous beliefs. They are false systems. You are love. You are light. You don't even need to work for that. It's who you are. You are the inheritance of Source Creator Being, of the Prime Creator. You are consciousness in motion. You are divinity incarnate. You are this ball of light that is ever growing, but from another perspective can't grow because it's what you are. Everything else is just part of your experience. You're just collecting more data, like an octopus who's like, ooh, this is fun. Ooh, I learned golf. Ooh, I learned how to snorkel. Ooh, I learned how to cook a dish. But you don't take that with you when you die. So I want you to start linking into that knowing that you already do know everything, but sometimes you play small or you play stupid like an actor on stage. And as soon as someone infringes upon your free will, your inner knowing comes online and you're like, hey, don't do that. That's your God self. When you step into that knowing, right, when you're being playful or you're acting dumb, I do it all the time. I'm always being stupid. I'm always cutting up. But if someone says something that's completely disrespectful, right, and I don't mean they're trying to have fun with me. If they cross a line, it's like, nah, bro, don't do that. That's because that's the inner knowing that we always have. And sometimes we play stupid. And it's okay to play stupid, but remember to plug into the knowing that you are Source incarnate. You're an aspect of God. So that's my message for you today. There is help that is underway. I kept getting this vision today that the reason why you're being encouraged right now to stop fishing or scanning the field for someone else that you could reach out to is because you really need to entrain to that higher frequency of excitement that is going to involve someone new in your life. There's new people coming into your life. There is love that is underway right now. But you need to prime your field You need to almost create a new framework for that source energy to flow through and out of you, to bring that energy back to you. It's coming. It's already here. That source energy is you. You just have to allow yourself to flow through you. That's it. Stop creating all these barriers and stop putting up all these walls and energizing all of your own resistance. You know, I was telling a friend yesterday, if you're thinking about something a lot, that's not your spirit. Your spirit is here. It's the full expression. It's just what it is. We really need to stop playing the hiding game. I'm hiding this from you because I hope that we work out in the future, because that's eventually going to come out, right, of the shadow. So you might as well just be yourself now. Be in the full expression. Be every color within your rainbow, because every color within the rainbow isn't even every color in the universe, right? Please remember that we are in a limited reality, meaning that you came from the unlimited self. Yes, you came from a non-physical plane of existence where you can conjure anything you want. You can whip up anything out of thin air. You can turn your eyes purple in another reality. My eyes kind of look purple today. You can turn your eyes purple in another reality. You can turn your eyes red in another reality. But the whole purpose of this experiment is that you knew that you would descend upon this dense plane of existence that would be a solid bubble of biology, where you would only have 7 colors in the rainbow, where you would only have 7 chakras, where you would only have a sweet and salty. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you can manifest your unlimited self within this bubble of biology. You may not be able to turn your eyes red. However, you will magnetize a frequency that matches your imagination, that matches your emotion, that matches your desire, that matches your native frequency, which is that you are divinity. I want you to do an exercise the next time you go out. Walk around like you're a queen. Walk around like you're a king. And believe it without an ounce of doubt. And see how the universe starts to respond to you. You know, some people might feel insecure around you. Some people might be like, damn, he or she is working it. Play with that. Try on that frequency like it's a garment or a pair of jeans. Now imagine what happens when you take the frequency of the king or the queen and you couple that with the frequency of the dragons, and you couple that with the frequency of vulnerability and affection and love and yachts and private jets and all of it. It doesn't have to be superficial. It's all frequency. So your imagination, when you think of a yacht, that yacht carries a certain energetic imprint. When you align with it, when you integrate that imprint, when you integrate that energy, it becomes a part of your energetic field, and it starts to magnetize to self things that are of a like frequency. So if you walk around imagining that you have like huge wings, those wings may not appear in physical form, but the wings still exist within the imagination field, within the higher dimensions. And those higher dimensions are going to override the lower dimensions, and then they're going to magnetically draw to you something that's a match to those wings. That's how it works. It's not rocket science. It's really just entrainment. I wholeheartedly believe that if someone can create chaos, it makes them as great of a manifester than someone who can create magic. It's just that they're choosing to put their attention on the chaos because their mind is trying to reach for something that's chaotic, whether they're aware of it or not. But to me, we are all these amazing creators. Some of us are conscious, so we have more of a selection. And then some of us are unconscious. So we go, oh, I'm not lovable. I'm going to settle for this, or I'm going to settle for that, or I'm going to reach out to this other guy that I thought it could have worked out with. So now I'm going to reach out to him to see if it can work out. No, that's all lower mind. When you don't have dimensional access, when you don't have availability, when you don't have that wide array of choices that you can choose from, it means you're not vibrating high enough. You need to start working with fairies. You need to start working with whatever brings you joy. Everyone is on an equal playing field. That's why I refuse to believe that people are stupid. I'm sorry, I'm not going to ever endorse that we are victims. We are not victims of our circumstances. We selected these human suits, just like when you go in your closet and you go, yep, I think I'll wear the red today, and I think I'll wear that skirt, and I'll wear these heels. You did that with your body. You're like, I think I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to be a little overweight, Because the thing is, right, there's this karmic lineage or this bloodline that I need to clear around shame. So I'm going to choose that. And then as I clear my shame, the excessive amount of weight is naturally going to fall off of me. Or I think I'm going to choose to be a little overweight because I'm here to serve the collective and showing them that they are as lovable when they have some nice curves on them. And I'm going to be a representative or an emissary for body positivity. And I'm going to love my body. I'm up for that challenge. I can do it. I'm a master up here, so why wouldn't I be a master down there? That's how we chose to be in this world. That's why I cannot subscribe to this idea that we are victims. We are not victims. Have we been through the ringer? Yes. We've all been through some stuff, okay? But the thing is, from the guide's perspective, from the non-physical realms, they're like, oh my God, these humans, like they forgot what they are. They were with us before they went onto that planet, before they embarked upon planet Earth. They were with us. They're complaining about something they chose, right? So, and I know if that doesn't bode with you, if you don't resonate with that, just leave it. I'm just telling you what I know to be true. It doesn't have to be the ultimate truth. A truth is relative. It can be equally true that you didn't choose this, okay? And that you're controlled by Anunnaki and they engineered your body and now you're a slave in a prison on this planet. And it's a prison planet. But remember, this reality wraps itself around your belief systems. So if you believe that you're a prisoner on this planet, then the universe will give you more validation that you're a prisoner on this planet. Because it's all a game of beliefs. How do we create separation? By creating beliefs. How do we create separation? By creating different colors and different shapes and curvaceous people and skinny people and people who like meat and people who like vegan food. It's a game of duality, people. The game of duality. Get in the game by logging out of your small self and logging into your larger self, your infinite self, and then get in the game. That's it. So I love you guys so much. Love is arriving. Your guides want to reaffirm you that you did nothing wrong. You are a ball of light. You are a bundle of love. But you need to stop feeding into your own lack by chasing people who aren't in a position to return that to you. And start regenerating from within. Start recharging from within. It's time, my friends. And don't allow your mind to wander off and scan the field to then be a fisherman and look for and fish for someone that you can reach out to. That's only going to further disempower you. You are love beyond measure. When I look at you, I see a divine being, a majestic being of frequency, who wakes up every day to lend your energy, to contribute who you are and who you were designed to be, to emanate this light that you are as a means of uplifting humanity. Isn't that enough to know that you are you? Isn't it enough to know that you check every box and you meet all the criteria and that the angels are cheering you on and they see you just how I see you? They probably even love you more. They probably see things I don't see. They probably see a color around you that I can't see. You see what I mean? But I love you and I'm human. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're not flawed. If you want to believe you have flaws and then you want to work through those blocks, that's a really good approach. I do that all the time. But there's also a truth that you are not flawed. It's just that you keep making agreements with limiting beliefs that are earthbound, that keep you anchored in a lower version of reality. So I love you guys. I will leave it there. And if you'd like to donate, I appreciate you tremendously. And my link is feelgoodlife.com/donate. And if you haven't subscribed, my face is going to pop up now. You can just click on it, boom, and subscribe. I love you guys so much. Take care.